Picture this. It's 1987, and a new TV show premieres that critics absolutely despise. They call it vulgar, offensive, and predict it will be canceled within months. But something unexpected happens. America falls in love with the dysfunctional Bundy family. For 11 years, millions tuned in to watch Al, Peg, Kelly, and Bud turn chaos into comedy gold. What viewers didn't know was that behind the cameras, the real chaos was far darker than anything they showed on screen. What I'm about to reveal will shatter your image of this beloved sitcom forever. These aren't just funny behind-the-scenes anecdotes. These are devastating secrets about eating disorders, bitter feuds, and psychological damage that haunted the cast for decades. The show that made America laugh was simultaneously destroying the lives of the people who created that laughter. When Married with Children first hit TV screens, nobody thought it would last. Critics hated it with a passion, calling it nasty-minded and vulgar. But audiences couldn't get enough of the Bundy family's brutal honesty about dysfunction. Week after week, they watched Al Bundy reminisce about his high school football glory while selling women's shoes. Peg refused to cook or clean while spending his money, and their kids, Kelly and Bud, insult each other mercilessly while somehow maintaining twisted family loyalty. The show became Fox's first primetime series and eventually its longest-running live-action sitcom, delivering 259 episodes across 11 seasons. But what made it legendary wasn't just the groundbreaking humor. It was the real-life drama that unfolded when the camera stopped rolling. And that drama started with one of the most dangerous guest stars in television history. Sam Kinison was supposed to appear in just 2 episodes as a guardian angel, but his brief time on set left permanent scars on everyone involved. The legendary comedian arrived already famous for being loud, outrageous, and completely unpredictable. But nobody was prepared for the chaos he would unleash. On his very first day, Sam mooned the entire cast and crew, pulling down his pants and exposing himself to everyone on set. But that was just the beginning. On day 2, Sam tried to make up for arriving late by bringing strippers to the set who actually served lunch to the cast and crew, turning the workplace into a complete circus. The situation escalated dangerously when Sam developed a heated rivalry with director Jerry Cohen. The tension between them grew so intense that Sam actually pulled out a gun and threatened to shoot Jerry, creating genuine fear among everyone present. The conflict became personal when Jerry suspected Sam was having an affair with his girlfriend. Jerry went to Sam's house one night to confront him, which led to Sam waving a firearm in his face. According to author Richard German, who documented these incidents, Sam's attention-getting antics made working with him a nightmare and provided eye-opening examples of what Hollywood chaos really looked like behind closed doors. Incredibly, Sam Kinison had originally been considered for the role of Al Bundy himself, with Roseanne Barr in mind for Peg. Creator Michael Moy later admitted he was relieved they went with Ed O'Neill and Katie Sagal instead, saying, "We never liked working with comedians because they come in with their character already formed. What were we going to do? Tell Roseanne how to do her thing? But if you think Sam Kinison was the most destructive force on set, you haven't heard about the bitter feud that tore the main cast apart for years." Ed O'Neill finally revealed in 2024 what fans had never suspected. He had a long-running, devastating feud with Amanda Bears, who played neighbor Marcy. The conflict started during what should have been a celebratory moment, their TV guide cover shoot. When the magazine decided only certain cast members could appear on the cover, Amanda and David Garrison were excluded and expected Ed, as the lead actor, to fight for their inclusion. Instead, Ed brutally crushed their hopes. When Amanda and David came to him asking for support, Ed refused point blank, telling them, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry you guys aren't on the cover, but we can't do anything about it. What do you want me to do? Lie to you and tell you I'm going to bat for you? I'm not." His blunt rejection created a rift that lasted for years and even extended to personal events. In 2010, Ed publicly lashed out when Amanda didn't invite him to her wedding. Ed now admits he regrets handling it that way and should have been more diplomatic, but the damage was permanent. What started as a magazine cover dispute became one of the most bitter divides in sitcom history, proving that the Bundy family's dysfunction extended far beyond the fictional characters. But the feuding between adults was nothing compared to the psychological damage being inflicted on the show's youngest star. Christina Applegate was only 17 when she started playing Kelly Bundy, and what happened to her during those formative years would haunt her for decades. The role that made her famous also triggered a devastating eating disorder that she kept hidden from everyone on set. Playing that character did things to me in my psyche that were no bueno, like anorexia, she later confessed on her podcast. The pressure of being the show's sex symbol while still a teenager created unbearable psychological strain. Christina described hiding in bathrooms to eat because she had so much shame around food. She remembered being on airplanes with the cast during overseas trips and sneaking into the bathroom to eat just one shrimp because she was terrified anyone would see her eating and think she was trying to get fat. The situation was made worse by the toxic environment on set. Katie Sagal admitted on her podcast that the cast was brutally sarcastic and cynical, saying, "You weren't safe. Really, you turned your back. Somebody's going to talk about you." Christina revealed she could actually hear people bad-mouthing her through the monitor in her dressing room while she was just steps away from the set. For a young actress, the experience was emotionally devastating. Katie acknowledged that Christina was heavily scrutinized and sexualized, explaining they put her in tighter skirts and shorter skirts, despite her young age. The wardrobe choices that helped define Kelly Bundy were actually Christina's idea, inspired by rock video vixens of the era, but the consequences were far more damaging than she anticipated. The show's controversial content sparked nationwide boycotts, with critics like Terry Rakolta from Michigan appearing on talk shows demanding the series be canceled after watching episodes with her children that included inappropriate jokes. Instead of hurting the show, the boycotts only generated more attention and higher ratings, but they added to the pressure on the young cast members. Even the show's success felt hollow to those who created it. Ed O'Neill admitted that while the series was a hit, it was never respected by Hollywood insiders or his peers. He noted the strange phenomenon that fans would tell him he reminded them of their brother, uncle, or father, but never themselves. Nobody wanted to admit they saw themselves in Al Bundy's bitter dysfunction. The disrespect from the industry became brutally clear when the show was canceled. Ed O'Neill learned about the cancellation not from Fox executives or producers, but from strangers, a newlywed couple at a bed and breakfast who had heard it on the radio. After 11 years and 259 episodes, the star of one of television's longest-running sitcoms found out his career-defining role was over from people celebrating their wedding. Christina Applegate discovered the cancellation through an equally impersonal chain. A guy who knew a guy who worked for my assistant. No phone calls, no meetings, no official notification. Just secondhand whispers that one of television's most successful shows had quietly ended. Ed noted that unlike other hit series whose stars received expensive gifts when their shows ended, the Married with Children cast received nothing, not even a thank you note. The legacy of Married with Children is complex and haunting. It broke barriers, launched careers, and created comedy that still resonates today. But it also reveals the devastating cost of entertainment success. The eating disorders, bitter feuds, psychological damage, and casual cruelty that can flourish behind the scenes of even the most beloved shows. For Christina Applegate, who now battles multiple sclerosis, the show represents both her breakthrough and her breakdown. For Ed O'Neill, it's a career-defining success that never earned industry respect. For Amanda Bears, it's a workplace where personal relationships were sacrificed for professional hierarchy. The Bundy family brought laughter to millions, but the real family behind the cameras paid a price that no amount of success could justify. The truth about Married with Children isn't just about a groundbreaking sitcom. It's about the human cost of making America laugh, and the secrets that the people who entertained us carried long after the final credits rolled.